Everything we do in my world, on the tackle side of things, it starts with an idea.
So Niku all started about 2 years ago now. We realized there's definitely a hole in the industry.
The ice industry in a whole is tough coming out with new product because there's only so many ways you can invent the wheel. But we really thought that on the plastic side of things, there was just a lot of lacking and a lot of, it could get more premium is basically what I'm trying to say.
I mean, we were just chatting with Clam about various things in the ice industry and gaps we had seen, and they brought up to us a desire to create a new line of plastics and new baits that the ice fishing industry hadn't really seen.
The route that they were going was more of that Japanese-esque, very sharp lines, sleek style, unique plastics.
Where they're offering stuff that's never been really offered for designs, color, in ice fishing.
Sitting down with the other Chronicles guys and just kind of hashing out some designs, just, you know, chicken scratch literally on a napkin at the bar, talking about ideas.
We started with, you know, doing some research on some bugs and forage, and we looked at the ice belt and what are these fish eating? What aren't people throwing currently? What are some things that people are using that aren't quite maybe as awesome as they could be?
So it starts with a drawing on a piece of paper like this. Then that morphs into a CAD drawing, kind of like these. And it just morphs and morphs and morphs. So you may have 10 different versions of something before it ever even gets to its final state.
We enlisted the Crappie Chronicles to do 2 shapes. I gave them the task, give me the 2 best shapes that you aren't getting from anywhere else right now. And then we kind of had the easy job. We got to have a bug, we got to have a minnow. So mayfly larva is one of the top, you know, forage species in the ice belt. So we made a hyper-realistic mayfly larva, and we made a minnow, and then we let the Crappie Chronicles boys go wild, and that's where we came up with the flutter fry and the soldier fry. So, flutter, fry, soldier fly. Something that really is going to separate Niku from the rest of the boys is going to be colors and shapes. We've got the top mold guys in the game. Our ability to get, you know, stuff dialed down to the micron is unmatched, and what you're going to get is a cleaner product like what you're seeing with some of this JDM stuff.
The nice thing with these baits is we really wanted to push the envelope and not only be unique on baits, but some of our baits we wanted to do really big sizes to them.
In the ice industry, there's so many small plastics out there, and that's what we've been taught forever, just down, 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 smaller, smaller, smaller to get those fish to bite. What we've noticed over the years is you can go the opposite direction and really get them to go as well. So that's where you see, you know, that flutter fry come into effect, is that fall is so different, and it is the same profile of the bait fish they are chasing and eating.
Some of them we wanted really crazy interesting colors to them, and it seems like the ice industry has been very standard with their colors for a long time, and you go to like open water and there's, I mean, thousands of colors and crazy names for all those colors.
Most of the colors you see traditionally are your single tones. You know, you get your whites, you get your chartreuses, you get your pinks. They're pretty run-of-the-mill. And that is another spot where we drew a little bit from the bass scene, and Niku's coming in hot with some really cool colors. We're really leaning into double tones, laminates, some really hyper-realistic flakes, iridescence, glows.
Having the versatility to like pull out a color for a very specific situation, and like have full confidence that it's exactly what I want, and not, you know, something that's kind of closer. There's only like 3 or 4 variations of a certain type of color, and just having such a lineup to choose from, and like having the flake actually in these baits to create just that depth in the plastic that just makes it look so much more natural and real, you know, to a fish. You know, some of this stuff, you drop it in the water and it looks like a bait fish. It looks like a real bug. Oh God, it's fucking big. Jesus Christ. Dude. Holy. That one's even bigger, dude.
There's a good one. Jesus. Horses.
Good God. Flutter fry, another absolute tank.
Not only did we helped design these different baits, colors, whatnot, but also got to do a lot of testing with these things, and the results are unreal. Like the fish, I mean, every lake, river, backwater, I mean, everywhere we went with them, they work.
Having this season to really use it and see how fish react to it, and see just like how these baits look in the water, different ways to work them, because that's the thing with some of these new designs, there's so many different ways to rig it and to actually fish it.
Now, presenting baits that fish haven't seen, a quiver just that's a little bit different, or what we notice is a very big deal is fall rate, and that's what you'll see with some of these baits is just so much of a different action. And we got to use these baits a lot this year. So you got some really small plastics, like the Bolt, and you can get bluegills or just really finicky negative fish to bite.
But we also went big on some of our baits, like the flutter fry, and that thing is huge. We got to use that bait pretty much the entire year this last winter. And the crazy thing about it was, it's, you know, just under 2 inches, but the amount of 10 and 11 inch crappies we caught on it, it was unreal, and they were choking. I mean, just think open water, how many just crappies you catch on a 2 inch minnow, 2.5 inch minnow while you're open water springtime crappie fishing. Well, they eat the same things. It's still the same size as a minnow. I mean, you catch them on fatheads all the time.
Even though it's all one bait, you can really do so many more things with it than maybe you initially thought. So getting an opportunity to like fish it for literally an entire season and figure out, you know, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and let me tell you, there's a lot of things to like about it.
Freight train's the flutter fry right there. But Waldo, I thought they only eat little baits and live bait. I thought they only eat live bait. No, they do not. Boom, boom.
So when we designed these baits, we didn't want it just to be for the hardcore angler. Me coming from a tournament, you know, angle, I wanted the baits to just outperform and be able to be used by everybody. So just the normal first timer could go, hey, I'm gonna put this bait on there, jig it, and actually catch fish on it.
They do the work for you. They're not just for the tournament guys, the guys that are super cadence oriented. The nice thing about these baits is that they just straight up catch fish.
These baits are awesome. They're super easy to use. The plastics, we tested a multitude of different durometers of plastic and, you know, densities, and whether it's the hyper stretch, whether it's the super supple. This is a great blend of durability and action.
You can go chase giants with them. You can go whack and stack a limit of eaters with them. They're just workhorse baits that fill every niche that we could think of.
I think we've looked at it from a lot of different lenses, like, you know, would these compete at the tournament level? Would these be something that, you know, just anyone would have in their tackle box day in and day out on the ice that would really just be like a go-to staple bait? And I think that's what we've come up with here, is like we have a lineup of baits and colors that anyone can use for a variety of species, not just crappies or maybe bluegills, but you know, bass, pike, walleye, all these things. All of these baits look so real and look exactly like stuff that all these different types of fish eat.
But the biggest thing is they just straight up catch them. And it doesn't matter who you are, what your skill level is, that bait will do the work for you.